Is it too late now to say sorry? It's too late to apologize. Baby, I'm sorry, not sorry. Now, this you might be thinking is another one of my karaoke videos, and this is not the place for it. I do have a separate karaoke channel, and if you would like to compliment my singing, by all means, feel free to do that. However, if you observed a common theme across all these three very popular pop songs, it is the need or the necessity to apologize, to say sorry. And that is something that we should really be doing a lot more of in this day and age, in any situation or circumstance. But in this video, I'm going to cover specifically on why it's important to apologize and also what stops us from apologizing in a heartfelt manner. So stay tuned for the rest of the video for that. Welcome back everyone. For the newbies who are here, welcome to my channel for the very first time. My name is Shweta. I am the founder of Healthy Dynamics. We are a coaching space that really explores facets of different aspects and facets of communication that pertain to the healthcare space. So if you are someone who works in healthcare and who works closely with patients in any role or in any capacity, and you also come from a non-English speaking background, so English is not your first language, and you're hoping to improve both your language as well as your communication skills in order to build better relationships with your patients and colleagues, as well as stand out as a person of excellence in the workplace, you've come to the right spot. Make sure you hit the subscribe button as well as the notification bell to stay tuned for all the videos that I post almost every week. And this covers a lot of strategies that I have experienced and I have come across, I've researched on, that will help your communication skills, improve them in the workplace as a healthcare professional. So as I mentioned in the very beginning of the video, the importance of apology, actually it just struck me not too long ago, and I started to see patterns when I was speaking to patients on an on and off basis where I felt the need to apologize, and I was finding myself doing it a lot, and I felt, okay, this is a very good topic for a video now. Now, apology is an interesting one because, believe it or not, even in our everyday common life, the three words that or the three types of words we really struggle to articulate and say to other people are I love you, thank you, and I'm sorry. Now, there are numerous reasons behind it, and I'm not really going to go into the psychological aspect of it, but we will focus specifically on why the older we get, especially why we collectively as humans struggle to apologize. Now, there are a lot of reasons for this. Number one is somehow you feel it is a blow to your ego. You might feel that you are less than as a person. You might feel a sense of shame, a sense of embarrassment, or you might just feel that that person is not worthy of my apology. Now, this is quite prevalent in certain societies and certain cultures that are quite hierarchical. So in other words, people who are having a certain type of qualification, have a certain type of job, earn a certain amount of money, those guys they are morally or hierarchically superior, or that's what they claim to be, versus other people who they think can be less than that. Now, a lot of people might think, well, that is not a good attitude to have, that's just very egotistic, but let's not forget that is how a lot of societies and cultures are structured, where people who are of a certain class, they consider themselves quite superior. So apologizing to someone who's not on the same level playing field as them can be considered like something that they don't want to do. It goes against their pride and it goes against their ego. That's the first reason. The second reason also is that it sort of makes you lose face. Now, losing face is something that I talk about quite a few times because I come from one of those cultures, and I have also lived in places that are like that, where losing face is something that you just don't want to do. You don't want to embarrass yourself, it looks really bad on you. So apologizing, even when you know that you've been in the wrong, can really be seen as, you're just not good enough, you're just stupid, and you're just a disgrace, basically. That's another reason. And the third reason is that we as humans, and it's very disappointing and I'm not really proud to say this, we as humans, especially I think with generations have passed, they really don't want to be held accountable or responsible. Now, as a person, I will tell you this. I know that if I make a certain choice or if I perform a certain action, I have to bear the brunt of that. I am responsible for that. I'm responsible for my choices. I am also accountable for my choices and actions. So if I make a mistake or if the consequences do not turn out to be favorable, I will openly say that I am at fault. I am the reason behind it. Unfortunately though, not everyone is like that. They just want to avoid accountability, they want to play victim, and they want to really push the blame on everything else and in other situations. So that could be another reason. Now, before I go into the next segment of the video, while I was filming this video, actually, I was reminded of a segment in a very popular Hindi movie, which I will link to in the next part of, before the next part of the video. And the very famous dialogue in that movie, it translates to roughly that, just because you seek forgiveness or apologize to someone doesn't make you less of a person. And the person who forgives you is a much bigger person.
कि माफी मांगने से कोई छोटा बड़ा नहीं होता और जो माफ कर देता है उसका दिल बहुत बड़ा होता है.
So if you just saw that video clip, that is what it roughly translates to. I'm sorry if the translation didn't come up in English, but that's roughly what it translates to. Now, let's go into why it's important for us to apologize as healthcare professionals. Going back to exactly what I just said a while ago, it helps you build credibility, trust, and you become more accountable and also take personal responsibility. Now, whether, for example, you have misdiagnosed something, you have if you're say in the radiology space and you have performed a scan that has been incorrect, or you have performed something where you have scanned some part of the body that should not be scanned, or you have, God forbid, you have, taken a completely different set of symptoms and matched it up to something else. Now, these are human errors and this can happen at any time. So, and obviously what has happened now is the patient is inconvenienced because of that and they are in a lot of trouble. And in that case, it is important for you as a healthcare professional to really take ownership and say that, yes, I was the one who was in the wrong here, I apologize, and this is how I'm going to need to fix it. So that's one of the things that you absolutely have to do. Apologizing also, just like I showed to you in the dialogue a while ago, is it's not really a question of who is morally better or inferior or superior. You are just being open and saying, yes, this went wrong, I messed up, and I take responsibility for that, and I'm sorry. People actually, believe it or not, when they actually value more when a person is being authentic and taking full ownership, accountability, and responsibility, and your patients are no different, than someone who's just in a power struggle or in an ego trap and saying that they just don't want to do it. So owning up to that, even if it's your fault, actually makes people see you in a different light, and the trust actually, believe it or not, it improves. So what people or patients in general, they do want someone who's knowledgeable and experienced and professional and whatever else when they see a healthcare professional, but they also need to be aware of the fact that they are humans just like them. So apologizing really shows the patients that you are a human just like them, and just like they make mistakes, you make mistakes as well. And again, that it helps build that trust and that credibility, and people really start to see you as a genuine human as opposed to someone who just thinks of them, sometimes someone who thinks of them as being quite superior or quite special or just one of a kind. And the final point that I would like to say is that the organization that you work for overall, that again, or even if you're practicing on your own, the brand or the reputation of wherever you are, whether you're working for yourself or anywhere else, actually improves. So, like if you look at places where that are customer focused, where there are customers get a lot of complain to people a lot of time, and if they're resolved in a timely manner, people are a lot more forgiving, and they will say to people that other people that this went wrong, and that's okay. They resolved it, and they resolved it in a timely manner. So they tend to be a little bit more forgiving, and they also, as long as you give them that assurance that there are steps being taken or being put in place to make sure that those errors in the future are minimized, that's a much better thing to do. And actually that sort of helps improve your credibility and reputation overall. So whether you're working for yourself or anything else. So for example, if you are, say, a nutritionist or a dietitian and you're recommending to your patient to try a certain type of diet because just based on your knowledge and your experience, you recommend them a certain diet, and then what happens is that not only does the diet or that the way that they eat or the nutrition that they consume has not only has that backfired, and it's also led to side effects. What can happen is that the nutritionist, you should be able to say that, I'm fully responsible for it. I apologize. Let's undertake like a plan B. Now, in certain situations, I know when you've, say, performed an operation or anything like that, it's a little harder because it's permanent. You can't, if you take a part of your body out, you're not going to be able to put it back in. So that is where it's too late, and that's why you get people's consent and things like that, so that they know what they're in for. And also this sort of ties quite well with a lot of places. They will provide documentation to patients that we have these disclaimers that there are, and even though you inform them of side effects and other possible consequences of a change in their habits or in their lifestyle, you feel that if something beyond the scope of that has happened, you are being fully responsible, transparent, and taking accountability and ownership of that situation. So these are the reasons why, as I said in the very beginning of the video, we hesitate to apologize. In the second half of the video, why is apologizing so important? Now, next week's video, I'm going to talk about how to effectively apologize and when you should not be apologizing. Those two are really big ones because it's not just you saying sorry, but also it has to be genuine, heartfelt, and authentic. And also in some situations where you feel that you're responsible, you're actually not. So that should be an eye-opening video for you. So thank you very, very much for your attention and your presence. Make sure that you hit the subscribe and notification bell to stay tuned for next week's video and any others. And have a lovely week. Thank you so much.